Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the new Riff 10-year-old bourbon, Dustin. This is the first 10-year-old?
First decade, baby.
Of their stuff, new Riff.
Yeah.
Just a limited run, special release. Limited edition. No, I didn't say that.
It was limited.
What can you tell us about this 10-year-old bourbon? Anything?
Nothing extra to add to that, really, Mike. It's
Extra,
their
yeah.
first 10-year-old. They released this and a 10-year rye. I'll give you a review of the rye. It's an oaky version of their rye.
Dustin, I believe I'm reading 60.25% ABV. Okay. Does it have a
20.5.
Yeah, does it have a bottle numbering or something like that?
No. I don't know how many barrels they did, but this was limited release. They did. It was sold out in about 20 minutes. It's two max per customer. So I got two.
If you're a fan of the channel, you know Dustin and I are big fans of New Riff.
Yes, we have reviewed a lot of new Riff.
This is right there by it.
It's probably the American brand we've reviewed the most whiskeys of, which is kind of crazy to think about, but I'm pretty confident it's our number one.
Right in Dustin's backyard, and
They're close. That helps.
there's the party source every time I go there. I go that there. Plus, I know the guy who was over at the party source for a while. Good guys.
Yeah.
Whiskey guys. Always rooted for them. They do quite a range of whiskeys, but it's always good to get back to just
Rye and malts, and they're exploring and experimenting. But this is just standard bourbon. 10 years old.
Meat and potatoes. Dustin.
And Mike smell it. It ain't meat and potatoes. That is an epic nose.
Sweet bourbon. Exactly what you expected to smell like.
This is epic bourbon on the nose, man.
Oh, man. It almost comes off dusty at the tail end of it. But it's a little too gasoline for dusty. That's what gives you away. But it's a mix of the two.
It is unbelievable.
That's a great smell.
Furnisher varnish with like red fruits with like deep oak.
So much furniture polish.
A little bit of barnyard notes coming in here.
This is Billy Cash's, this is Johnny Cash's wooden banister right here.
Deep, rich, fucking vanilla notes.
Cinnamon red.
Yeah, red hots are in here, but in the best way.
Yeah,
these are gourmet red hots.
Like the steam's taken off the red. Like it's chopped at the knees because the overall bourbon sweetness is running this show.
Dried leather.
Good one. Almost
Very dry.
Yeah, almost bomber jacket. Like car bourbon's jacket without the salty note to it.
Yeah, this is not new car leather. This is dried, aged leather. But even a little bit of tobacco is coming through here.
Yeah, McGuire.
Pipe type tobacco right here. Yeah.
McGuire's leather cleaner for your car. Always remember, Dustin, if you're cleaning the inside of the car, get a leather cleaner. Starts with M. McGuire's or Mother's. I told my wife that. She came back with motor oil. And it was baffling.
Rich and dry. This is excellent. This is giving me this nose is like an older bourbon than 10 years. This nose is like really old bourbon. And I've noticed that New Riff, as they're starting to get older, they're starting to show signs that they're going to be a brand that really excels at aged.
I've always thought from the beginning with New Riff, we got something here. I'm biased. You know them, they're there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like in a sports team. Like, I'm probably being a bit of a homer. But if I enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been turned off a little bit by New Riff since they put in the new bar upstairs, and the prices have gotten crazy high to go in there and have a pour.
I'm glad they're successful, though.
But exactly, I'm glad they're successful. But I wish they were a little bit more of like a.
I wish you were trying hard for my business.
I wish it was a fun place for like whiskey guys to go versus trying to be like a nice place to like they want to bring it upscale, and I don't know that I don't want my bourbon tasting area to be upscale. I want it to be I'm sitting on a bourbon barrel rustic.
That's the dream, Dustin.
That's what I want. But anyway.
But practically marketing, we need more of the upscale people because guys like us aren't going to set it. We're drinking our own collection at home. And they offer good whiskeys for that, too.
They do. Anyway, this is just epic on the nose.
Yeah, great nose in bourbon.
Wow.
If you love bourbon, right here. There's no way you're not going to like this unless it's really sensitive to ABV.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of drying notes on here. I guess maybe somebody.
I'm getting a little fall leaf here. A little dry fall leaf.
Yeah, I can see that.
You said tobacco. I can get a twinge of tobacco here.
Oh, God, I love this whiskey. All right, I'm going to go in, man.
There's almost the sugariness. There's a different sugary sweetness to it, too. Almost like Big League Chew. Remember that? You can sell it with a package? Like a powdered sugar.
That white dust on it, yeah. Or like you open a baseball card pack from like the 80s.
Similar, yeah.
Gumstick.
Garbage book, yeah, anything like that.
Oh my god, yeah. Their initial arrival is so sweet, so candied, so easy. You don't pick up the ABV initially on that first arrival. And then the spiciness kicks in, the leathers, those fall notes. I mean, almost like it's getting a little bit cidered or something. And then the oak notes start picking up. And the ABV comes in, the oiliness. It's so rich. It's so oily. Just coats the mouth. And it just gets better and better. You can absolutely tell there's 10 years on this. There's a little bit of like cocoa powder sneaking in there a little bit, which is I don't get chocolate too often on bourbons. But this one definitely has a little bit of that note. I know it reminds me a little bit of the 8 with that chocolate note, but everything else about this thing is so much better than the 8. This is a substantial increase from the 8.
Heavy sweetness initially, then some spices came in, and as soon as you swallowed, a huge rush of spice. Huge rush of spice. Then it plateaus, comes back down. Sweetness goes back. Man, there's quite a few things going on here too. You can just get enamored with the over-the-top dusty bourbon smell, sweet dusty bourbon smell initially. And just say, man, story sweet, nice cinnamon swell, mid-palate, lovely finish.
Cinnamon. Touch of nutmeg too.
But there's just so much going on here. When you said cider earlier, there is a twinge of that in the nose and on the finish. And it's on the nose too. As soon as you said it, I'm like, right there.
The New Riff notes, maybe it's coming from the yeast. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but the distinct New Riff kind of flavor. I don't know how to really describe it. There's a note that you get with New Riff. It's absolutely here. They have not like hidden that at all. And I don't know if I love that New Riff note or not. It's a perfectly fine note.
It goes dressed better with some things than others.
But you do not, you're not missing that at all here. New Riff is front and center here. This is obviously a New Riff. If you're blind tasting this and you know New Riff, there's a good chance you're going to guess it, but it's going to take you a while because you're going to be like, man, that is so good. Actually,
you're going to have to be very used to high ABV, though. I will say this: you felt the ABV on the tongue. You really didn't get as much on the nose, but the nose was very rich. So there were signs this is going to be a high ABV offering.
Well, and 120 is fairly high for New Riff. When you see a lot of their 4-year releases, it's very rare they get that high. Now, obviously, 6 more years and the heat, the proof's going up. But you can tell these are barrels that the proof did have to go up because New Riff, I don't know their entry point, but it is lower. And just absolutely beautiful results here. I mean, excellent stuff.
This bourbon is hitting its stride. Like, age, everything else. This is... I would expect, going forward, these if they're offering 10 years on a regular basis, these will be high-quality offerings.
I am hoping this becomes an annual release at the very least. This is a 10-year. And I'm hoping we see 12 and up. I know New Riff did not, for how big they were and how aggressive they were, I know they weren't putting as many barrels back for aging as we'd like because they were selling incredibly well at 4. So we may not see a swell of this coming in the next few years, but I'm hoping over time that this becomes a readily available thing, and I'm hoping it could even become a regular release because this is unbelievably good.
10 years for bourbon specifically is really where it starts to feel like older whiskey.
Yes.
It always sounds kind of like 15, 18 years for a Scotch, roughly.
And I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and there's something around that 10-year mark where stuff starts getting magical in bourbon. Not every bourbon does it. Sometimes maybe you get it a little sooner, but this is suddenly old whiskey, whereas the 8 was not old whiskey. It was just good whiskey. We reviewed it. We liked it. This is next level. Yeah,
well, again, just to piggyback what Dustin's saying, I've often found that usually that's about the tipping off point for well-aged bourbon is right about 10 years, you usually get it. 12, 14, you're getting it. You don't have to worry about over-oaked at that point.
Yeah, you start worrying about going the other direction for sure.
It's a double-edged sword.
Oh, this is my wheelhouse. Absolutely. I am today really picking up that New Riff funkiness on the finish. That's something I didn't notice as much in the past, but man, that arrival is so good, Mike. And by the way, water did nothing here. It's just still epic whiskey.
Man, it's still so stinging. Like on top of the tank.
It's rich, it's full. I mean, it's hitting everything I like. Again, the only reason you're not going to love this is if you just have an aversion to New Riff's bourbon, and there's something in that New Riff profile. But
three reasons. One, you don't like whiskey. Two, you don't.
There we go. Okay, that's fair.
You don't like super high ABV, but yeah, there's a lot to like here.
God, this is epic. Epic New Riff.
Dustin, great. Wow. Yeah, it took water really well. All right, so your bottle. So what's score time? Your bottle, I'll go first. 80 out of 100. I could probably go 88 and a half. This is just, for a bourbon, man, this is, I mean, not the best bourbon ever or anything, but this is for today, what you can pick up. One of the better bourbons out there. If you're a cask strength and you like a strong cask strength, super sweet bourbon with a little bit of age. Dustin?
I was thinking to myself when I was drinking this whiskey the other day, is this the best bourbon I've bought this year? And I ended up going back to one of those 15-year Buckners, and I said, okay, that's better. I got to bring one of those for you, the ones we did with Jason. Those are some hitters.
We did one, didn't we?
We did one, but that was one I bought at the store.
Oh,
I didn't bring you the picks we actually did.
Yeah.
Those are...
you're right, we talked about it.
Those are special. Anyway, we'll do that when we got a group together. This is special, and I'm teetering to go 90, but I'm going to leave it at 89. But it's close for me to go that 90. It's so good. It's so well put together. The finish is the only thing that maybe it...
Could be a little longer.
It could be a little longer. It could be a little richer. It could be a little more leathery or something. But the arrival is absolutely 90. The nose is a 90, but the finish is probably 88. So I'm going to leave it at the 89, but God, it's close. Excellent whiskey, Mike.
Enjoyable experience, Dustin. And again, we like New Riff. We're fans. We'll both say that.
And by the way, now I know people can't go out and pick these up. I don't know what secondary is, but these were $90 from the distillery, which is a great price.
That's a good price. For bourbon, that's not a stupid IBV. I mean, we do a lot of scotches here. 60% sounds high. I mean, that's...
But it is super high ABV for New Riff because they go...
Oh, agreed. Yeah, agreed.
So New Riff does a very low entry proof, whereas a lot of brands go in at 125. They go in, I want to say 110 or something. It significantly makes it harder for us to get these higher proof stuff.
Yeah, on top of that, this drink's a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
In a good way.
It's a rich, powerful, punchy whiskey for sure. Which is exactly what you want on a 10-year bourbon.
Yep. If you're that style of bourbon drinker, get you one.
Yeah. This isn't a Buffalo Trace type 90 proofer that's meant for mass consumption. This is a specialty 10-year-old, and it drinks like it.
Absolutely. All right, Dustin. Well, first of all, I'm going to start that over and say, if you ever had a chance to try this one, we'd like to know what you guys think. Until next time, Dustin, what do we wish the folks?
Happy 10-year-old bourbon drinking.
See you then. I should have hit that dude. I should have tried to run with that catcher who was 6'5", I was 25 years old playing softball. We played for the Dollhouse, which is a strip joint. And a couple of girls who watched there, man, I was like, watch this, ladies. Laid myself flat out. Where the ball is where I could crack the 2 ribs.